Warning, the following video has not been approved by the Comic Code Authority and is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Drewski, the Comic Assassin, and welcome back to another episode where today we're going to be talking about some comic book news. We're going to talk about what came out last week and what should be on your radar possibly this upcoming Wednesday when you go check out your local comic book shop. There's not really a lot in the comic book realm when it comes to news. I did see that John Carpenter is going to be working on The Joker, the Year of the Villain. And I'm excited about that. The king of horror himself, one of the kings, there's many of them. But this comes out in October, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't been too much of a fan of this whole Year of the Villain thing, this whole Apex Lex, him providing these offers that people can't refuse type of thing. I don't know. It's interesting, but it's not really my forte. But I'm excited to see what John Carpenter brings to the table for the Joker. So I'm sure we'll find out more news as we approach that upcoming date. Now, I guess the only other news for those comic books is that Donny Cates actually put out a tweet the other day that showed an unfinished picture of the connecting covers for, I guess it might be one of the variants for Absolute Carnage. And together and unfinished, man, they look sweet. All right, I'm not too big on connecting covers just because sometimes they're really hard to display. All right, but it looked pretty awesome, and I would love to see the finished work. Now, that's it for the actual book news. We're going to get into some movie news, and I'm going to start off with some mainly non-comic book news. Mortal Kombat is doing a reboot. Now, I grew up playing Mortal Kombat. I remember when the movie came out, I had the soundtrack on cassette tape. And just picture this, all right, and humor me for a second. All right. I've done martial arts off and on pretty much my whole life. And as a kid, doing martial arts, getting a hold of that Mortal Kombat soundtrack, I would get in the bathroom, I'd put that cassette on, and I'd practice some moves. Man, it'd probably be embarrassing if you would have put it on film. But man, I jammed out to that soundtrack so hard back in the day. But it's going to be rated R. They're going to have some fatalities. It's going to be some finishing moves, right? I'm excited about a Mortal Kombat reboot. Just saying. All right, but there's another reboot that's coming out that I'm not that excited about. And that's going to be Power Rangers. All right. Sorry. I watched Power Rangers. I actually liked Power Rangers growing up. I was at the age where I was probably a little maybe considered too old to be watching Power Rangers, but I enjoyed it and I watched it anyway. All right. I ain't liked the Power Rangers, but I don't necessarily want to reboot. I think that last thing they did with the movies was a bomb, and I just don't see why we keep bringing them up over and over again. Now, you might be a Power Ranger fan, and you might think differently. And if so, put a comment down. Let me know why you are or not excited about this Power Ranger movie coming up. So there's that. And then we have the Eternals. All right, how many rumors can we have with the Eternals about who is and isn't going to be in the movie? Now, we already know that we have Angelina Jolie playing Cersei, who first appearance was in the Eternals #2, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, they've talked about Keanu Reeves, and they had the whole new thing with Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, which she just came out and denied, and said, hey, they haven't even contacted me yet. And they're talking about with Selma Hayek and all that. Now, let me put something straight. I'm looking forward to the Eternals movie, okay? Anything that's come out that's comic related, I'm a fan of. I might not like it, but I want to support it. All right. Now with the Eternals, you have to understand, they only had 47 issues across 3 decades, across 4 volumes. All right. 47 issues. And there's a few one-shots, but not counting those. We're not talking about a popular book. All right. I don't think anybody's really going there to be like, oh wow, I'm a super huge Eternals fan, I gotta watch this movie, because that's just not happening. So I don't know if we need to bring in all these big name actors and actresses. Bring in some new blood. And I say that because most people are probably going to watch this movie because, one, it's a comic book movie, and they're wanting to see what's going on in the next phase of MCU. Alright, now if you bring on all these big actors and actresses like Angelina Jolie, personally, I like her as an actress, but she's been around so long that people are either going to love her or hate her. Alright? So with that being said, you might be creating already kind of a negative, what's the right term? I guess basically what I'm saying is, if you hate Angelina Jolie and you go in and watch this movie hating Angelina Jolie, you might think the movie sucks. Alright, you see what I'm saying? Whereas if you bring in some new blood, get some people in there that people might not know that much about, and they base it on the movie, not based on who was playing the characters. Alright? So who knows? Who knows where they're going with that? That's just one of my opinions. Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad just made an interesting casting going on. So they casted Storm Reed, who played in A Wrinkle in Time, and she's going to be playing the daughter of the actress Idris Elba. Now, neither one of their characters have been given yet or listed yet, but we know that we have a mother-daughter thing going on in Suicide Squad. Now, I was doing some brainstorming, and I could be completely wrong. Alright, like I said, my wife tells me that all the time. But I was starting to think, what characters could they be doing? First off, they might not even be either superheroes or supervillains or anything. They could be just regular characters in the movie. But I was thinking, what if they're doing maybe a like Duella Dent? That would be cool. Or what if they're doing something like with Fury? Now there were several mother-daughter Fury combos in DC Comics, or maybe even a Black Canary. Alright, now those are just 3 possibilities that came up, kind of off the top of my mind, because DC, mother-daughter, having ties with Suicide Squad. So let's see where that one goes. Alright, I'm kind of interested to see what Suicide Squad comes out with next. Other than that, Spider-Man Far From Home, killing it. Still killing it. But now we're already talking about what villains might be in the next movie. And I will say the one thing I've liked about these movies so far is that they haven't repeated stuff that's already been done. Even though there was an article that came out, when was it? I think this past week maybe, where like the writers of Far From Home were like, yeah, we never watched the old Spider-Man movies. And that's why you have the same J. Jonah Jameson and all that kind of stuff. Like, so I think that was kind of entertaining. But what villains would we might see in the next movie? Who do you want to see in the next movie? And, some names came to my mind. I would love to see Kraven. I think Kraven could be his own standalone movie. That's just my personal opinion. But I would love to see Kraven. I would love to see some Hobgoblin. I think Hobgoblin would be an awesome choice. I'd love to see some Scorpion. I don't think we're quite there yet for like a Sinister Six type thing. I think that's where like where the Garfield Spider-Man was going to like do that Sinister Six. I would love to see Sinister Six, but I just don't think we're there yet. So you let me know who you think might be a good villain in the next Spider-Man movie. Speaking of Marvel, though, Marvel had apparently a secret Facebook page, or someone had set up a Marvel, page, and someone got wind of it, and they someone else found out and they've kind of leaked some things of what they might be working on. Now, once again, this is all speculation, and some of it's actually been speculated for a while, but the three things that this Facebook page kind of leaked out was, one, Dark Avengers. And I'm telling you this because if these movies do come to light, the books are going to jump up in price. So get them now while they're still somewhat low, even though in this case, a lot of them aren't that cheap. But they're going to be cheaper now than they're going to be if that movie drops. But Dark Avengers is a possibility. Now, you want to go pick up Dark Avengers #1. It's already been a hot book, like I said, but you might want to pick it up. Another one is Young Avengers. And I don't know, that it might happen. Who knows what's going to happen? To me, that doesn't seem as realistic, but who knows. But if that does come out, you might want to be looking at Young Avengers #1. Now, the next one is Ironheart. And like I said, all three of these things I've heard in the past year or two. So it's not like new news, but it's coming out as news because of the secret Facebook page. Ironheart is a possibility. Whether she gets her own standalone movie or she's included in a movie in a bigger setting, we'll find that out. But Ironheart, the first appearance of Riri Williams came out in The Invincible Iron Man #7. Depending on what source you go on, it could be volume 3 or 4. I take that as it is, but it's not a cheap book, but you can still find it. But she first appears as Ironheart in the following volume, #3. So those are two books that you might want to keep on your radar, so you kind of head the game. All right. Oh, and Paper Girls. Paper Girls, which is I think a book from Image, is now, it was optioned I think a while back, but it's coming out on Amazon as its own TV show. Once again, I love it. I'm not hating on it, but Paper Girls just isn't for me. It's kind of almost like Stranger Things with like an old female cast. And yeah, I mean, if you like Paper Girls, awesome. If you want to check it out and you want to get the book, go get it now because it's only going to keep going up in price, especially as soon as it hits the screen. So that's that. All right, so what came out last week? This is what I picked up last week. I'll start off with this. I got Unearthed #1. I got Reaver #1. I just did a comic book review on those two books. If you want to know more about them in detail, go check out the last video. And like I said in my last video, what happened this week is actually I had to go out of town early Wednesday morning. Knew I wasn't going to be able to get in time to get my books. Called my LCS up on Thursday, said, hey, can you pull these books for me? And they did. So please support your local comic book shop, because that's what makes it different. You can't go online and be like, hey, can you pull books for me right now? I mean, that's just not a thing. So anyway, when it comes to DC, I did pick Naomi #6 up. I haven't read it yet, but I'm caught up. I've read 1 through 5, so I'm interested to read what's going on in Naomi. All right, let's see here. We got when it came to Marvel, I did Symbiote Spider-Man, which has been a fun read, but I will say this was a very quick read, which is sometimes a good thing, but when like you sit down and it takes you like 2 minutes to read something, you're kind of like, where the hell did my $4 go? Like, can I at least get 4 minutes of entertainment? You know, it was a very super quick read for me. But overall, the story's still good. I'm still going to keep with it. We have Venom #16. And I still have a few issues to go. I like that they have the little Carnage and the glass right there. Now, there was a printing error with this book, and I am going to open this up for you. So apparently on, I think, the second page right here, mine does not have the error, but there was an error where there was some of the dialogue was missing or cut off. So there was a pretty big printing error with this Venom book. So you might have one. Check it out. And then I got The Amazing Spider-Man 25. Now, I started reading this. I haven't finished yet. I think probably about a quarter of the way. It's a big book, all right? It's a big, big book. I haven't heard if Kindred's alias, or the guy who goes by the alias Kindred, if he was actually revealed in this book. And that's what I was actually looking for the most, especially because this thing had a $7.99 price tag. All right, expensive book. Kind of ridiculous if you ask me, because from what I read, I mean, it's a good book, but it ain't no $8 good. I think there's an all-female Sinister Syndicate, which to me is kind of cheesy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I haven't finished reading the book yet. Oh, I did get some of these things, though. I got the Young Guns. This is one of those free things. Marvel is doing their Young Guns preview type thing, kind of highlighting some of the new young artists. What I love about previews and things like this is because I have young kids. I have a 6-year-old and I have a 5-year-old, and they love comics. They love comics, but I don't let them handle my comics because of obvious reasons. But they'll get a hold of one of these and they can look through it, and they can. My 6-year-old's actually reading really good. But you know, if they damage it, X, Y, and Z, it's free. You know, so I can't really complain. But oh, speaking of which, speaking of Young Guns, my son actually just drew this. All right. Now, he's done some other more intricate stuff. But you got Spider-Man fighting Venom. You got some webs going on. So that's my Young Gun. All right, my Young Gun doing some artwork. I'm loving it. All right. I don't think I got much else. I did pick up some dollar books, but not really worth showing. I'll show them anyway. Why not? Got some Punishers in there. Some of the Garth Ennis run. Got a Spider-Man. So whenever I see Punisher and Spider-Man in dollar book, in the dollar book section, it's really hard for me to pass up. All right. So that's that. I don't think I left off anything. Though in the back of mine, I felt like I did, but I think that's all that I got last week. So what's coming out this week? Honestly, nothing really gets me when it comes to Dark Horse, Dynamite, or Image. All right, now there's something that you've already been reading, pick it up, but nothing really pops out at me when it comes to any of those. When it goes to IDW, I would say maybe Road of Bones, number 3. This isn't a series I've been reading yet, but it does seem like an interesting concept. I know number 1 kind of heated up, so that one you might want to pick up. Now, keeping on with kind of like the indie, smaller publisher type thing, Vault Comics has Sarah and the Royal Stars, number 1 comes out, which it's number 1. You might want to check it out. But the one that really gets me with Vault is Resident number 1. This actually seems like a cool concept. So this is one that if I can, I'm going to try to pick up this book. And if I do, maybe I'll even do a review on it this upcoming week. But that's one that I would keep on my radar. Now, one of my big indies goes out to Betty and Veronica, the Jumbo Digest 272. All right, it's got that old school Betty and Veronica, like in the bathing suit type thing. It has the old school feel, which we know those old school comics that have those kind of pictures on it go for a good penny. Already sold on a Midtown. If you find this, it might be one you want to pick up. All right. Now, it's one of those weird things, like Archie, that whole realm. You can't be in comic books and not know about Archie. I read some Archie. I didn't read a lot of Archie. I will say I've been watching Rivendell, though, and it is freaking awesome. I've actually enjoyed the show, and I think it's gotten a lot of popularity back with that whole genre of comics. So that's one of my number 1 indie picks for this week. Now going to DC, for the read, I'm going to see Teen Titans number 32. It's got Crush, it's got Lobo. I mentioned this last time. I think Crush is a character that has some long-term potential. And in this book, she is grilling Lobo about who her mother is. Do we find out who it is in this issue? Who knows? But I think for the read, that is one to keep an eye on. Then my other one goes up to Batman 75. Tom King's run is coming to an end here soon, but this is becoming to the new story arc. I think it's the City of Bane or something like that. So if you've been keeping up with this whole volume, you want to pick up Batman 75. But my number one for DC goes out to Collapser number 1. Seems like a very interesting concept. New character, kind of a new idea. Basically, the guy pretty much is gifted a black hole, and it kind of is in his chest, and who knows what's going to happen there. All right, but it seems very interesting, and you might want to check it out. Now we'll go on to the big Marvel. First off, Giant Size X-Men, the facsimile comes out. I like the facsimile stuff. That might be one you want to check out. Immortal Hulk 21 is a given. Alright. You can't pass on Immortal Hulk. And then the Deadpool 15. I'm going to do cover B, the Scotty Young cover. And I just think it reminds me of that one cover, and I can't remember if it's Deadpool or Deadpool Spidey book, when you have like Deadpool and Spidey has like kind of, it's got the white background, and Spidey has all the armor on him. For some reason, this cover kind of reminded me of that original cover, and I think it's one to pick up. But my two top picks go to Silver Surfer Black, number 2. I love the last storyline. I'm not so much looking forward to the artwork in it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm going to go Silver Surfer Black number 2. But the one book you should be getting if you can is Captain Marvel number 8. Alright, apparently we get a new appearance of this new character named Star. Whether it be a cameo, full appearance, all that kind of stuff, I don't think we know yet. But all the covers are sold out. Alright, so if you can get this cover, and that's not talking about covers again, talking about crappy art. I think the cover art on Captain Marvel, this volume has been terrible. But apparently they're getting a new artist coming in, and I've seen a preview of that artwork, and that stuff looks good. Alright, but Captain Marvel number 8. If you find it, you get it. Okay? Because you ain't going to be able to get it for cover price after Wednesday at your LCS. Okay, that's just the way there is to it. I'm going to pass on Loki number 1. There's some annuals that I'm going to pass on. Just because I think Loki's going to be so heavily printed, and I just don't, there's nothing really there for me, alright? Oh, there was one other book I wanted to mention. X Liefeld's number 1. Now this is from Keen Spot Entertainment. Alright, basically, it's a spoof book. It's basically all the characters that Liefeld created that never became popular are now coming back to fight the ones that he did. I think it's fun. I'm going to try to pick up a copy. I think there's a few covers of it already sold out on Midtown. I think it's fun. Alright, now, X Liefeld, I should say Rob Liefeld, take it or leave it. He's done some good stuff. He's done some real bad stuff. So I'm really interested in seeing how this comic is portrayed, especially since it is advertised as being kind of a spoof book. So that's going to be my book for humor. Other than that, I really don't have much else to tell you. Let me know in the comments what you think. What books are you going to be checking out? What should we be hunting for? Etc., etc. So with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch another episode. And this is Drewski, the Comic Assassin. Y'all have a good week, and happy hunting.